The final game of 2023 goes tonight. Happy New Year, everybody, nation citizens. Thanks for tuning in to Pre-Gaming with Bordsy. I'm Tyler Yaremchuk, filling in for our pal Aaron Bordato, who is still down and out with a little bit of an illness, but he'll be ready to go in 2024. And the Oilers, boy, they are rolling right into 2024. At least they'll be looking to keep it that way after a big win over the LA Kings last night. We are going to revisit that victory down at crypto.com arena, a win that extended the Oilers' winning streak to 4 games as they head into their New Year's Eve battle in Anaheim. We'll talk about everything you need to know for that matchup tonight down at the Honda Center in Anaheim, and we'll give you your Sherwood Ford Giants storylines, full lineup reports, starting goalies, and all of that fun stuff. Yesterday, if you were with me, I was flying solo for the whole hour. I will not have to do that today because I got my pal Jay joining me on the pregame show. Happy New Year's, Jay. Where is he? Where is he? Give me Jay on the screen. There he is. Happy New Year.
I'm frozen on my end, but I'm here.
Yeah, you're frozen on our end too. I know. No, you're good. You're good. Happy New Year.
My router is literally 3 inches from me, so the fact my internet's shaky is hilarious.
Are you a big New Year's guy, or is your plan tonight watching the Oilers and going to bed at 9 o'clock?
Man, it is probably the most overrated, overhyped holiday because you're getting hyped up for like a countdown, and then like it happens, and then what? So do I like celebrating New Year's and getting together with friends? Yes, but it's more just about like low-key hangouts with your friends, and that's it. Like I've tried to do the extravagant things. You don't get that same feeling. Christmas has got a feeling. You drink some eggnog at Christmas and you feel different. New Year's, nothing. The beer tastes the same. I'm not even a big champagne guy, so when I drink it, I'm like, whatever. So not a big New Year's guy, aside from it's just a great time to get together with friends and family. That's it.
Yeah, that's fair too. I'm keeping it pretty low key tonight because not only am I on pre-gaming, but I'll be hanging around for the post-game show as well, as our boy Bagged Milk will swing by, and the two of us will break down what will hopefully be a 5th consecutive Oilers victory. But Jay, let's talk a little bit about the 4th consecutive Oilers victory. It came last night against the LA Kings. After 20 minutes, it was hard to be positive after that opening 20. The Kings came out and kind of slaughtered them for the first, the full period. The Oilers didn't get anything going at all in that opening frame.
So full disclosure, I watched the first period last night and then PVR'd the rest because I had to put my daughter down, and I fell asleep putting her down. So I woke up this morning and watched the second and third period, and that I sent out a tweet like, "Who needs coffee?" Like I just watched the game PVR'd and I am buzzing. So what a tale of, I guess, not 2 periods is the wrong term, but that first period snore fest. I'm like, okay, here we are. We showed up lame, and the Kings are going to be the Kings and outwork us. And this is just going to be a beating, and we'll move on to Anaheim and end the year on the right foot. But wow, they showed up in that second period. They scored on the power play, and like that's the stingiest penalty kill in the league. Like the things like it was like, and then to hear Doughty's comments and him just to pout like a little baby. Like you want to talk about best moments of 2023, like. We're ending on a super high note, and fill me up and put that into my veins. Doughty being a piss baby.
Man, Drew Doughty did not do a lot for the whole not being likable thing. Like he was whining incredibly aggressively last night. Like even when they were up 2-0 and they took that penalty, you can tell when he plays the Oilers, man, he's just on edge because they get the best of him routinely.
It's insane. Like we're in their kitchen. Like LA is a good team, and we can't like we had to fight and claw, and we got that W, and it went to a shootout and showed Derek Ryan. Like, man, the guy that guy is such a Swiss Army knife. What can he do for us? The guy goes out and gets rocked every game. He got rocked like 9 times last night, and then we put him number 4 shooter because why? He's probably smart, and you just know you can rely on this guy, and he goes in and does his job. And man, you see how pumped Connor was to do that. Like it was just kind of an interesting way to end that game. But yeah, there's something that fills my cup to see just Drew Doughty implode and how we just live in his kitchen rent free. It's all in his own head. Like he's making this all up. Like yes, we're winning, but like that wasn't a convincing win. Like they say we beat the wheels off him every time. Like that game could have gone either way at any point. So the fact that he's that defeated and to make that kind of statement at the end, like I said, hook it to my veins, man.
Yeah, it was great. And one of the turning points, or the big turning point, was that goal by Connor McDavid on the power play in the second period. McDavid came out in that middle frame a man possessed. That was one of the
Yeah.
best periods of hockey I think I've probably seen him play all year. He finally gets, I mean, he has so many vintage Connor McDavid moves, but the going in wide, popping it past the goalie's ears, he loves doing that.
I
And he
know.
tried 2 other times until it finally worked. Like, you could tell he had the spot picked on Talbot.
Like, don't you think Talbot's like, fudge? Like, he just tried it like 3 times on me, and I still gave it to him, and he took it. Like, shame on
Yeah.
Talbot at that point.
Yeah.
But yes,
Yeah.
you gotta love it. Connor was buzzing last night.
When McDavid peeled around and probably looked at it and saw it open again, he was probably like, "You've got to be kidding me. Like, you're going to give me a third chance to put this home."
Yeah.
And then when Connor set up Leon, he was fired up. Like, we don't see that level of excitement from McDavid on a regular season goal all that often, but you could tell, again, they go down 2-0 after the first. I'd love to know what Connor McDavid was saying in that room, because he came up not just playing well, but he was like emotional as well. He was very invested in that hockey game last night.
Well, that game was so important just because it was it's a size up, right? Kings are a legit team, and they're having a legit season so far. And us is a great kind of measuring stick to kind of measure up against them. So like this game meant a lot more than other ones we played this season. So to see how we stacked up, to get that W, saw the emote, like you saw when Nuge scored his shootout goal, he's like, what a move, what a move. Like, he was so animated, right? So like this game obviously meant more to him than others this season. And obviously every game means like is super important, but like there was just that little extra, right? Like this win really, really, really meant something to kind of like give him maybe not the motivation, but just to feel like, we are on the right track. Like, this season is not off the rails. We're just, had a little bump, and like we're buzzing. And so, yeah, it was great to see. And just like as a fan watching that, like you feel that.
Absolutely. Even when Derek Ryan scores the winner, McDavid's so fired up when he went to go jump over the boards, he knocked Draisaitl's gloves off onto the ice. Last night was an emotional one, I think, for the Oilers. And the other thing too, like outside of that and just McDavid taking over the game, I also give the Oilers a ton of credit for the way they kind of shut down the LA Kings in those final 40 minutes of the game. A lot of credit there does go to Stuart Skinner, though. He was excellent in that hockey game. After the first period, again, he ends the night with a .929 save percentage. He stops like the final 16 or 17 shots that he faced in that hockey game. And the two that beat him were high-end shots. Like Kempe's was an absolute laser. Fiala was a one-timer from right in the middle of the dots that he just ripped right by his ears. So I don't fault Skinner on either of them. He made a bunch of big saves. Another moment that was good, and I see it was who said it in the chat? Anna said, "How about Nuge saving the game in overtime on Kopitar right?" Like, the Oilers were committed to a full ice effort last night, which was also a great thing to see.
Yeah, that overtime was a little shaky at points. And yeah, shout out to Nuge for making save, and Skinner for making big saves when needed. Both in the shootout, in overtime, and in the third period to kind of close things out. Like I said, he made some like those like kind of 10 bell saves, right, to keep the guys in it, because like I said, that game could have gone either way. We also could have won 5-2, like tip of the cap to Talbot. Like, he made some real monster saves in that game too. So, you kind of got a soft spot for him. So it's happy to see the guy still got it. But glad we got the W against him. And I wonder if Connor maybe sent him a text after the DR goal, right? Just to kind of rub it into him.
Oh, McDavid also beat him really nice in that shootout too. The way he's automatic right now. So he's 2 for 2 on shootouts this season. He also has the penalty shot goal against Bobrovsky in the Florida Panthers. So he's 3 for 3 on these kinds of attempts this year. And it feels like he's now just kind of got it figured out, where if he comes in slow, eventually a goalie's going to open up something. And he's so fast and so good at reading goalies that he doesn't need to come in with speed. He doesn't need to have his move premeditated. Like, he can just coast in, wait, then right there, boom. And before the goalie can move, it's in. Like, he was nasty on that attempt.
Yeah. No, loved it.
It was good. Him, Nuge, Derek Ryan get the 3 goals. You touched on Derek Ryan a little bit there, but I love that call from Chris Knobloch as well. Like, I mean, there are better players out there or on the bench that you probably could have gone with. But the fact that, I mean, he knew something, went with his gut, saw something in practice. I don't know what it was, but credit to him for going with Derek Ryan in that
Like
situation.
Matt Hendricks, man. Matt Hendricks was always put in the shootout, and he had one move, and he did it all the time, and he scored like above 50%. Like, it's funny. So yeah, that's good coaching. Like, did I expect to see Derek Ryan number 4? No, but the minute I saw it, I'm like, I love this. I love this for some reason. And boom, he scored. So tip of the cap to Garlic.
Another big thing from last night is just the fact that that top line with Hyman, McDavid, and Nuge just keeps absolutely dominating the other team. They played 13 minutes together at 5-on-5 last night and were the only Oilers line to outshoot the opposition at 5-on-5. There's just so many times where the Oilers have completely lost momentum in a period or in a run of 5 minutes, and Knobloch just goes Hyman, Nuge, McDavid, and they go out there and make it look like a power play. Like, that line, you can't break them up. And now, in a weird way, it's one of the mailbag questions tomorrow on Oilers Nation. It's what's a big area what's the biggest area Ken Holland should be looking to spend his first round pick on ahead of the deadline? It might be finding a better player to play with Leon Draisaitl. Like, a scoring winger might actually be high up on their list.
100%, because we need to have two. Like, we need to have two of those lines, and you can easily have that because you have the main ingredient on the second line, Leon Draisaitl. It's just no, like, and McLeod's been hot lately, but like, he's a third liner, and you just got to give Draisaitl a little bit some weapons to play with, and look out. Then we have a legit 1-2 punch. And then you have the nuclear option anytime you need it when you put 97 and 29 together. So you need that flexibility. We need a legitimate second line, which then also puts, our third line and makes it a lot better by pushing those guys back and just kind of, deepens the roster. So yeah, no, it's funny, kind of the wait and see. Like, obviously you go back to 2 months ago and it's like goalie at all costs, defense, blah, blah. And like, Skinner's playing good. And, maybe we say he's back, and we ride that, and Calvin Pickard is a good enough backup. Okay. And maybe we don't, obviously we can figure out a way to get out of the Jack Campbell contract to open up space. Fantastic. But in the meantime, defense is stepping up. Still maybe want to see a little bit more depth there, but yeah, it's an impact player on your second line is what we desperately need. The Connor Brown is not that guy. He's a bottom 6 guy. And that's fine as long as we just say that's what it is and start kind of making the moves necessary to address what our kind of new needs are, as we've kind of patiently waited. But now, we need to start kind of thinking about pulling the trigger on something here soon, because trade deadline is getting closer and closer.
Yeah, it's kind of quietly sneaking up on us. James Hamblin for Selke need to get Konechny, speedy right winger with scoring touch, would make that line elite.
James, you should know better. You're an NHLer. And you should know that Philly is in a playoff spot, and probably he's a contributing factor to that. So probably not going to get him. I would love him, though. You're right. But that's a tough.
Can I throw you another winger that's currently playing in the state of Pennsylvania? The Athletic wrote an article with some early trade deadline targets, and they brought up the idea of the Pittsburgh Penguins trading Jake Gensel ahead of the deadline.
Ooh.
That'd be interesting.
I wonder what, that's a big haul. That's a big haul. Yeah, that's super enticing. That guy can score.
$6 million pending UFA. It would cost you a lot to do it, but if you wanted to get a guy, proven playoff performer, someone who's used to playing with high-end skill, Jake Gensel would be that guy. Probably a little bit too early to be talking deadline, but I guess it is, 7-8 weeks away. Before we get into our need to know information here on Pre-Gaming with Bordsy, I should tell you that the show, as always, is brought to you by Sherwood Ford, the Giant. Their service and parts department is engaged in the season of selling winter tires, winter rims, mountain balance, and wheel alignments. They even have a tire quote tool on their website if you're like me and know absolutely nothing about vehicles. That is why I use Sherwood Ford, the Giant. They make it easy for you to maintain your whip. I want to talk a little bit of New Year's Eve, year in review, if you want to call it that, Jay. And I'd love to hear from people in the chat as well. Maybe drop me some of your more niche favorite Oilers memories from the last year. Like, I think an obvious one for me is Connor McDavid hitting 150 points in a season, something that hasn't been done yet in this century in the NHL. And I just think it's cool that a guy did it in the orange and blue. And we really, I don't want to say didn't talk about it enough, but in the moment when McDavid does it, you're all caught up in the race for the top of the division, the playoffs and all of that. Looking back on the last year, like, it is insane that dude almost averaged 2 points a game last season. Wild.
Oh, so insane. And for Connor McDavid, sustainable too. If especially as he's been playing late, like, I'd be interested. I can't wait to see how he finishes this year. Now, are we going back and forth? Or am I supposed to pick one thing?
What do you got? Give me, is there
I've
one that
got a
stands
few.
out?
Well, I got a bunch. And so, like, a super niche one to me, and also I guess you had some exposure to this, was having the Germans come to town, which was super exciting. They came and they watched the Oilers go 3-0. They got to meet Leon Draisaitl. They got to meet Devin Shore. That was super fun. And I got to live vicariously through them for this. But the thing, like the niche within the niche that I loved the most was when the last game they were here for was against San Jose. And this was late in the season, and San Jose was up on us. Erik Karlsson was all over the ice. And we made that comeback, but it was that Ekholm slap shot goal from like that, like, wide angle, top corner, like really, really kind of close. And like, we were like, it happened like right in front of us. It was so awesome. So start with my boy Ekholm, because I love him. And I guess I fire it back to you.
Yeah, well, how about just Matthias Ekholm in general? I mean, that trade, it really was the biggest Oilers deadline move since the Dwayne Rollison deal in 06, right? Like, they didn't trade first round picks at the deadlines in 16, 17, or in 2017, I should say. And then in those other playoff runs. So the Matthias Ekholm deal, I remember where I was sitting at the office. I was getting ready to go home for the day. And all of a sudden you see the tweet pop up. I think it was Friedman who had it first. And it was like, Ekholm's going to the Oilers. I was like, holy crap. We went live. We had like 2,000 or 3,000 people watching our live stream as we broke down the deal. We reacted in real time as we found out what the return was. And also, like, it's risky to take big swings like that at the trade deadline. But that deal, from Tyson Barrie being healthy, scratched, and not working out anymore in Nashville, to Reed Schaefer having 1 goal in like 30 American League games. And then you look at the impact Ekholm's had, the fact he's still under contract for 2 more seasons after this one. That deal is like one of the best in Oilers history.
Yeah. Like, we desperately needed a really good defenseman, and we went and got our guy. And yeah, it's funny now. You look in hindsight, it looked like we gave up a lot, but wow, it might not have been as much as we originally thought. So, we're super lucky to have that guy. Obviously, he started the season a little bit hurt, and now he's playing some insane good hockey right now, which a lot of the guys are. And that's what's leading to the success we're seeing. My next one, and Tyler, you were with me for this, was the Oilers comeback in LA in the playoffs.
That was going to be my next one too.
That was absolutely insanity. Going from just so deep depression, getting ripped on by everyone around us, to Jack Campbell going in the net. And I'll never forget you, Jack, for doing this, whatever kind of happens with you down the way. I'll always have a special place in my heart for you for what you did that night in LA. That comeback was insane. And then just the vibes after, and just the feeling of elation after. And, that was a very special moment for me to witness as an Oilers fan.
Jack Campbell came in that relief appearance, stopped 26 of 27 shots. If you forget how that game went, remember, the Oilers were down 2-1 in the series there. And you're sitting there going, oh my God, if we go down 3-1 to the LA Kings, like, we're screwed. And then in the second period, Bouchard from Draisaitl and McDavid, Draisaitl from McDavid and Hyman, Draisaitl from Nugent Bouchard. They scored 3 goals in the middle frame. And I remember when Draisaitl scored that one right at the end of the period, I don't even think I moved in the intermission for like 10 minutes. I just sat there with like a smile on my face, being like, I cannot believe they just erased that as fast as they did. And then Campbell made that massive breakaway stop on Victor Arvidsson. When the Kings regained the lead, Arvidsson had a chance to just put it away with like 6 or 7 minutes to go. Jack stops him. Evander Kane ties the game. Hyman, with his first of the series, ends it in overtime. And that's one of the best playoff games I think I've watched in my time as an Oilers fan. Granted, my run doesn't really include 06. So when I look back at the last few playoff runs, like, that Hyman goal is way up there for the biggest ones for the Oilers. That was an unbelievable one. Also, game 6, James Hamblin for Selke brings up Costin's goal against LA in the playoffs was sick. Yamamoto scoring the winner in game 6. I remember being at Greta and the place just going absolutely bananas as it did during our playoff watch parties. But them winning that game 6, like the comeback in game 4 was unreal. It was the big guns taking over. In game 6, they won that because Costin scored twice and Yamo scored a timely one. Like the depth came through. And I just remember going absolutely nuts at Greta that night.
Yeah, that was I remember seconds later I was on my phone booking us flights to Vegas.
Oh yeah, that is right. I remember I'm on the dance floor and I get called over and you're like, we're flying out this day, flying back this day. I was like, oh shit. Oilers Golden Knights. We were also in attendance for the one game when Leon Draisaitl scored his 4 goals and just totally silenced that arena down in Vegas, which was unbelievable. In terms of like
in a losing effort.
Yeah, I know, but still, it was cool to see part of that game, at least in the moment. In terms of nation-specific things, Jay, you mentioned the Germans, but how about our anniversary party? The shot, big ice thing, like that was a good time.
Yeah, no, that was a good time. Crazy milestone, crazy we've been at it for as long as we have. But yeah, no, that was a super special. That was a day. That was like an afternoon game too, which was great. And yeah, the Germans were in town for it, so we had really good company. So yeah, no, that was a good one. And then, we have to, remember just to, I don't know if we need to put a bow on this or not, but like, let's just call October 10th to November 11th, a very memorable time for us. Very memorable. You'll never forget it. It was so bad. You'll never forget it. I'm not saying it was my favorite time of 23, but you might look back at it in hindsight and be like, I really kind of delved deep as an individual, as an Oilers fan there, because I was at the bottoms of the deepest ocean, not seeing a way out, and that'll be memorable.
I tweeted that the Connor McDavid era was unraveling right before us. Like it was really, really dark for that 4 or 5 week run there.
It was wild, it was wild.
Like when they lost that game to San Jose, although it did give us Gregor with hair, which is excellent. That is something good that came from that month. When they lost that game to San Jose, I just remember like even the next couple of days on ON every day, just being like, what are we going to do for the full season? Like we have to start talking draft lottery again. We have to talk about them being sellers at the deadline. I remember I did a hit with Low Tide and he was like, he's like, do you just start putting guys like Connor Brown and Cody Ceci and just sit them and play the kids and see what you got for next year? And it was like, I couldn't believe we were at that point. But now as we look to go into 2024, like even my most optimistic take back on, let's say November 11th, when they make the coaching change, I didn't have them being 2 games above 500 by the end of the calendar year. Like the way it's gone from November 15th onward has been incredible.
Yeah, no, it's kind of, at a level that we were expecting going into the season. So, super reassuring to see. We got one more game here in 23 to kind of put us in a really good spot going into the second half of the year ish. So yeah, if you would have told me on November 11th, this is where we'd be, I would be, well, you're lying. And that would have been a hell of a run. So they did it. They're doing it.
Maynard says, remember Tyler on the streets of Vancouver. Jay, you were with me. We didn't even go out that night. We went and got our street food and ate it, sadly.
That was on what, November 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, like something right in there. Like that was right in that memorable window of just decade of darkness vibes.
All right. Okay. I am going to let you go in a few minutes, but quickly, I'll get your thoughts on this matchup tonight before I go into the usual schedule of this show. They have a chance to be 3 games above 500 with a victory tonight. It's also 2 points that would push them ahead of the Minnesota Wild. It would push them ahead of Seattle because they own the tiebreaker, and ahead of St. Louis because they own the tiebreaker. They could jump 1, 2, 3 spots in the standings with 2 points tonight. They can't afford to take this thing easy. They need to pummel the Ducks.
Yep. Yeah, well, Ducks haven't had they don't have the best record going, but you have to respect them because they do have some firepower. But yeah, no, you got to go in there and stomp them and just finish this year off right. You need those 2 points. It puts you like you're one spot out of the playoffs. It bumps you that far up, right?
Yeah, you are.
When I looked at it, yeah. So and that's just meaningful. That's the momentum carrying to next year. So just go and do your work. You just beat the LA Kings. Like
Kyle says,
bring a slightly watered down version of that, and you'll beat the Ducks.
Yeah. Wise Kyle says mini plays tonight. They already lost to the Winnipeg Jets, actually. So again, Seattle's in action tomorrow with the Winter Classic, taking on the Vegas Golden Knights. But Edmonton has a chance to do themselves some big favors in this one. But you can't take the Ducks lightly. They are only 4 days removed from beating the Vegas Golden Knights 5-2. So this isn't San Jose bad, the team we're looking at here. I know their record over the last little bit has been ugly. In the month of December, the Ducks have the worst points percentage in the NHL. But still, when you look at a team with Zegras, he's back and now healthy. Adam Henrique's having a good year. Like, there's still a lot of talent on this Ducks team. So I do think the Oilers have to bring, like, we joked against San Jose, like, your C+ effort is good enough to beat the San Jose Sharks. You probably need at least your B+, A- tonight to have a good game against the Ducks.
100%. And we, for some reason, like to get goalied sometimes by Anaheim. So I don't know who's starting tonight for him, but that's like I said, go and do your work. Before I go, I do want to talk about the 2 bets I want to make tonight.
Okay.
So go in and do your job. So I'm going heavy on the puck line tonight.
Me too.
It's playing plus money. If we go do our jobs, puck line shouldn't be a problem. I'm also, and I found it in I'm going to do this because tonight's the night, Tyler. Connor Brown scoring tonight.
Who?
Connor Brown is scoring tonight. He's going to get the monkey off his back. He's just going to say, put 2023 in the rearview mirror. It was a tough year for him. He's going to end it with a 1 goal. And then he's going to go and score like 10 more for the rest of the season and finish with 11-ish or so, and then be hopefully the guy we want to be. He looked decent last night. He put himself in some really good positions to score and just didn't. And like now you're just like, okay, well, that's just a guy who's snake bitten. He wasn't playing good before was the issue. He looked. You can notice when he was on the ice and he was putting the effort. So I just think it's going to come, and no better opponent than the Anaheim Ducks to break that hex. So. And, it's a meaningful game. It's the last game of 2023. So, like, ended on a good note, Connor Brown and pot one. It's going to happen.
Last night against the LA Kings, he had he was tied for the team lead with 3 5-on-5 shots on goal. He had 4 shot attempts at 5-on-5 in just 11 minutes and 49 seconds. He was moving in the right area. They've given him opportunity too. They put him on the ice in overtime. I agree. He's past due. Due was a month ago. But at some point he's got to see one go through. And
he's playing better now. That's the thing, though. He's playing better. So now, like when you're putting in the work and you're putting in the effort, things will happen. So I think we're in that like things will happen window.
Yeah, I agree. All right, Jay, I will let you get off and enjoy the rest of your New Year's Eve. Leave me with a score prediction.
Well, we're going to win 4-2. And before I go, I'm going to say it, Tyler. I'll see you next year.
Oh yeah, very good, very good. You are a dad. You can make jokes like that, so it's all good.
With a flapper and hat, but I will tell a dad joke.
I will see you Tuesday with a game day edition of ON Every Day.
See you, everyone.
All right, there you go. Jay is off into the new year night. Let's keep going with the show, or really get into the usual run of the show here. Let me give you some need to know information for our friends at Will Hawk Beef Jerky. Only the finest tasting meat products earn the Will Hawk name, made from 100% pure Alberta beef. Will Hawk Beef Jerky is aged, seasoned, marinated, and smoked to savory perfection. You can take my word for it. This stuff is legit. Here's what you need to know heading into tonight's hockey game. The Oilers have absolutely dominated the Anaheim Ducks over the last 3 seasons. A 7-1 record in their last 8 games against Anaheim. And in those games, the Oilers are outscoring the Ducks by an average of 5.63 to 2.25. They're winning these games on average by almost 3.4 goals. Take the puck line tonight. It's basically free money. knock on wood as I try to find wood somewhere below me. Desk legs, you can hear that, right? Knock on wood. But they've been dominating this matchup. Their power play's been good against the Ducks, 32.3%. Their penalty kill's been good against the Ducks, 82.4%. And they average 41 shots per game. I'm going to have a bet for that a little bit later on. They hammer the Anaheim Ducks on a routine basis. That one victory that the Ducks have was that weird game last year when Lucas Dostal stopped like 47 shots at Rogers Place. And I think the Ducks only won by 1 goal, or if it was 2, it was with an empty netter. Like, they dominate Anaheim. And tonight, the emotional high of last night for the Oilers beating the LA Kings, you should be able to keep rolling. So there you go. The Ducks, they are just straight up not a very good team, and they're not playing good right now. Barring any unforeseen miracle, the Ducks are going to be out of the playoffs for a 6th consecutive season. This isn't a team with a lot to play for. You can break their spirit easily. So there's your need to know information. The Oilers have absolutely dominated the Anaheim Ducks over the last 3 seasons. And tonight, I see no reason to believe that it won't be more of the same. Get your jerky on. For more information on our friends at Wilhock Beef Jerky, check them out online at wilhockbeefjerky.com. That brings us into our Sherwood Ford Giants storyline for tonight. And for me, if you want a giant storyline, a giant key to victory, you can drop yours in the chat. I'll go through a few in a minute here. It's just going to be don't take them easy, right? Like, I know Jay and I just said against the Sharks, you can win with your C+ effort. You can play boring hockey and get away with it a little bit. Against Anaheim, if you're sleeping, they do have some talent and they can burn you. Trevor Zegras is playing in the game tonight. And while I think he's somewhat overrated in terms of where his star power is and where his actual ability to impact a hockey game is, they have other guys. Ryan Strome's good. Mason McTavish is good. Adam Henrique's having a solid season. This blue line is it's young. Drysdale, Mintyov, Vakanainen. I know he's been in the league for a couple of seasons, but still, there's good vets scattered on there with Cam Fowler, Radko Gudas. John Gibson, we'll talk about the goaltending in a little bit if he is indeed the one getting the start, but this Ducks team can burn you in a way that the Sharks just really can't. So the Oilers, my big key to victory is that you cannot take them easy. And Wise Kyle says it. We ran over them last game. We will run over them tonight. You just can't let that, if you're the Oilers, slip into your mindset at all. You can't be like, oh, this is going to be an easy dub. We're going to roll right on through this one. So that's my giant key to victory for tonight. It's going to be do not take the Anaheim Ducks easily. Since the beginning of December, the Oilers have the 5th best points percentage in the league. The Ducks are 32nd in the NHL. In that span, their penalty kills 14th. Their power play is 15th. If you're the Oilers, like, just take care of business at 5-on-5, and you're going to roll over this team tonight. The Ducks, I said, they're coming off a win a couple of nights ago, they had a win a couple of nights ago against the Vegas Golden Knights. They just lost 2-0 to the Arizona Coyotes, though. Before that, 3-2 loss to the Seattle Kraken, a 3-0 loss to the Calgary Flames, and then they squeaked out a 4-3 win over Detroit. This team is not in a great spot right now. The Oilers just have to go out there and not give them any momentum. I'd even add on to that and say coming out and having a good first period, if you're the Edmonton Oilers, is a really, really important thing tonight. So there you go. That's my key to victory for tonight, brought to you by Sherwood Ford, the Giant. I'm not exactly flying solo for the rest of the show because I got my main man, Brett, producing this bad boy behind the scenes. Brett, I want your key to victory. What do you got for the Oilers tonight?
Yeah, I mean, it's been said a lot already. This is not the best team. It's not San Jose Sharks level, but the Ducks have been on the decline. They were really hot at the start of the year, and since then, they just been on the decline. You just beat the LA Kings, a tough team, a good team, a team that you always have big battles against. So, yes, it's the second of a back-to-back, but especially after that big, tough fight against the LA Kings, not let the foot off the gas pedal and kind of ride that tough game into tonight's game against the Ducks.
Yeah, we have someone in the chat asking about the Oilers' record on New Year's Eve, and they have lost their last 2 games on New Year's Eve. Last year, it was 2-1 to the Jets. Year before that, they lost 6-5 to the New Jersey Devils, I believe, on New Year's Eve was that game. I can double check. Yeah, it was a 6-5 OT loss to to the New Jersey Devils. The season before that was the weird Canadian division season that didn't even get started until the new year. So the Oilers will need a little bit to go right. And you're getting some love in the chat here as well, Brett. You're on post game with me too, so we're both in the same boat. Our New Year's Eve is going to be spent together.
Oh, just the two of us. I wouldn't rather ring in the new year rather than with you, baby.
Yeah. I'm still looking for the last time the Oilers got a win. Hey, here it is. And I think everyone will remember this game. It was back on New Year's Eve 2019 when they beat the New York Rangers 7-5 in the game where they called up Yamamoto, and that was the beginning of the Draisaitl Nuge Yamo line. So maybe it could be Raph Lavoie's night, Brett.
Yeah, finally. I mean, if he gets more minutes and doesn't take one of those phantom calls again and makes the most out of those minutes, I don't think he was that invisible, I should say, in the game. He had some pretty nice shifts, moved the puck well, got some shots towards the net. Yeah, why not? Let's New Year's magic, baby. Let's establish a middle six spot for him.
Why not? All right. I'll be coming back to Brett in a little bit with our betting report for the game. The teams are about to take to the ice for warm-up down in Anaheim, so I'll be able to get you the word on who the official starting goaltenders are for both the Ducks and Oilers. Obviously, for the Oilers, like Calvin Pickard is going to be the guy. You're not going to start Stuart Skinner on back-to-back games here. And honestly, there's no reason to not be confident in Calvin Pickard if you're an Oilers fan. He's coming off a handful of good performances now as an Oiler. Against New Jersey on December 21st, he had an .885 save percentage, delivered a victory. Before that, against Florida, 5 goals on 39 shots. Wasn't great, but that's a good Florida team. Before that, it was his .962 game against the New Jersey Devils. And on the year, Pickard has an .898 save percentage so far. And he gets a chance to play against a team that he's just not all that doesn't have that much offensive firepower compared to. Look at the other teams he's played. New Jersey, Florida, New Jersey, Carolina, Florida. Those are all teams who can put the puck in the net. So I have full confidence that Calvin Pickard can get the job done tonight for the Edmonton Oilers. Opposite him in the crease battle, just double check, the Anaheim Ducks Twitter account does say it is going to be John Gibson tonight between the pipes. Gibson has been on a pretty nice run as of late. In his last 3 starts, he's only allowed 5 goals against, and he's having a little bit of a career resurgence this season, a 2.77 goals against average and a 909 save percentage on the year. He does have an appearance against the Edmonton Oilers. It was a relief appearance after Lucas Dostal was pulled in the team's one meeting earlier this season. In that, Gibson gave up 2 goals on 10 shots. So he stopped 8 of 10. Something that's interesting, though, John Gibson for a while was an absolute Oilers killer. His career numbers against the Oilers from today until when his career began, 901 save percentage, 318 goals against average. But if you just look at his last 5 games against the Edmonton Oilers, it's a 652 goals against average and an 847 save percentage. The Oilers have done a great job over the last couple of years, just absolutely burning this guy. So the goalie matchup tonight doesn't concern me all that much. I know Gibson's numbers on the season look solid on paper, but the Oilers have made a habit of lighting him up over the last number of seasons. And Pickard, no reason to not be confident in Calvin Pickard's ability to come through and give you some solid minutes. So there you go. That is your starting goaltenders, and your starting goalies today is brought to you by Sherwood Power Sports and Marine. We are just 6.5 hours away from the calendar flipping to 2024, and that means we're inching closer to the grand opening of Sherwood Power Sports and Marine. That sleek all-black exterior right in the heart of Sherwood Park. It will be your home no matter what you need for your outdoor adventures. Pontoon boats, ATVs, side-by-sides, they will have it all out at Sherwood Power Sports and Marine. Just waiting to see. And Brett, let me know if you find anything on the Oilers lineup for this one, and if there's any late notes, I suppose. I know the Ducks did say Troy Terry is going to be day-to-day with an upper body injury, and they are expected to welcome Radko Gudas back into the lineup. He was out with an injury for the last little bit as well. So good injury news for the Ducks, bad injury news. They won't have Troy Terry. That's a big blow to their forward group, but we can get into the Ducks lineup, which is brought to you by Greta. If you're in Edmonton, listen, the game's at 6 tonight. The game's done at 8:30. That means you have plenty of time to call up an Uber, head on down to Greta and ring in the new year down there. It's a great spot, pregame, postgame, whatever. Hit up Greta this weekend. It's a long weekend. You don't work on Monday. No excuses. Get out there and get after it. The Ducks lines tonight, starting with the top line. Mason McTavish is expected to play with Alex Killorn and Frank Vetrano. What a season Frank Vetrano has been putting together. Granted, gone a little bit cold as of late. Early in the season, I mean, this guy was top 10 in goals. We all knew that wasn't going to continue. He still has 2 in his last 5. But 16 goals in 35 games. He is a guy you're going to want to keep a close eye on tonight as the Oilers take on Anaheim. Trevor Zegras on the second line with Max Jones and Ryan Strome. Adam Henrique with Brock McGinn and Brett Leeson. Sam Carrick with Ross Johnston and Jacob Silverberg. And I know a bunch of you were saying in the chat that apparently Bob Stauffer has been hyping up the name Sam Carrick as a potential trade option for the Oilers. I think that's interesting in terms of you want a guy, listen, they're thin on the right side and they could use a bottom 6 centerman. Sam Carrick shoots right. His cap hit is dirt cheap. I wouldn't call him like this year's Nick Bukestad because I don't think he is the scoring upside of it all. But I will say he'd be a fine bottom 6 guy. The only thing is like you have a decent amount of fine bottom 6 guys. Like if you had to, oh wow, we got to ban someone. You're gone. Sorry, everybody. I missed that. Hide user on this channel. Okay, he's gone. He's gone. Goodbye. Primetime's gone. Anyways, Sam Gagner, you can play. Derek Ryan, you can play him. Adam Ernie's showing you that he can at least be competent. Connor Brown is looking like a bottom 6 guy right now. If I'm the Oilers, as much as it's nice to add a layer of depth, I forgot to include James Hamblin in that conversation as well. You have enough good bottom 6, and I think Sam Carrick is just a good bottom 6 player. I would like to see them aim higher. Go get an impact piece for the top 6. Go get a really damn good third line center. Braden's in the chat says go get Boone Jenner. Like if you can get someone who's a meaningful upgrade to the third line or meaningful upgrade to the second line right wing spot and everyone else just kind of shifts down a bit, I think you're better off than that. I don't really see the need. And the other thing too is these guys tend to get a little bit overvalued around deadline time. Like the gap in acquisition between Sam Carrick and something meaningful actually might not be that much because guys like Carrick, guys like Dowd gets to the deadline and the teams get a little bit too horned up for them, right? For really good, gritty bottom 6 guys. So I would be cautious with Sam Carrick. I like that he's cheap. I like the position. I like the player. I would just like to see Ken Holland maybe aim a little bit higher with this one. So in terms of that Ducks lineup and any other names the Oilers could go after, if you could get Adam Henrique retained a couple of times, he goes from 5.8 to 2.9 down to 1.45. I'm in, but that would cost you a lot to get all that money retained. So I'm not sure if that's even a great fit. And outside of that, like Jacob Silverberg's a pending UFA on the Ducks. I don't have a ton of interest there. If you wanted a D-man for some insurance, I don't hate Lyubushkin, but I shouldn't say that. I wouldn't hate Lyubushkin if he was $900K and you got him chopped to $450 and he's like a good 7th D-man because of how cheap that cap hit is. I have no interest in him at 2.75 or even half of 2.75. And there's not really anyone else in Anaheim that grabs my interest. So I don't really see these two teams as a good deadline fit. I get that Bob likes Carrick. I can see why he would. I think I want to see them aim a little bit higher. Final buzzer. Lane Peterson is doing well in Baco, and he is a centerman. Yeah, give that guy a look before you go trade for Sam Carrick, right? Carrick's better than him. I'm not trying to say he's not, but I just think Fighting Amish says it well. You need someone who adds overall to the team, not just a little spot duty guy in the bottom 6. That's kind of my point with all of this. So there you go. That's the Ducks lineup. We can get into the Oilers lineup for tonight. Our Oilers lineup report is brought to you by Sherwood Ford the Giant. I'm not seeing any changes out there, so I don't think there were any last minute changes to the Oilers lineup. So should be the same lineup as last night for Chris Knobloch and the Edmonton Oilers, which means it's McDavid with Nuge and Hyman, Draisaitl with Fogle and McLeod, Derek Ryan with Matthias Janmark, and I'm assuming that'll be Connor Brown up on the second line again, and then Hamblin goes with Ernie and Raph Lavoie. Oh, no. All right, Zach Lang, our boy, he's watching warmies, and he's got Ralph Lavoie and Sam Gagner are both scratches tonight. So Evander Kane is going to draw back in, which means what you're looking at right now on your screen is actually the full correct lineup. Evander Kane on the left side with Derek Ryan and Matthias Janmark, James Hamblin with Connor Brown and Adam Ernie. So whatever was bugging him yesterday, him being Evander Kane, he will be back in the lineup tonight. So that's a good welcome sight. Again, they beat the LA Kings without Evander Kane. They could beat the Anaheim Ducks. I want them to make sure that Evander Kane is 100%. I don't want this to be a situation where for the next 2 months of the season, we're sitting here every game going, oh, Evander Kane's not skating. Oh, maybe he's banged up. Like, they should just get out in front of this thing and get it sorted out. But a welcome addition back into the lineup, Evander Kane, and he'll draw back in on the third line for the Edmonton Oilers. There's your Oilers lineup tonight. And with that, I also have some numbers on just how dominant the Oilers Stars have been against the Ducks. I mentioned 7-1 in their last 8 games. And in those 8 games, Connor McDavid has 6 goals and 14 points. McDavid over 1.5 points tonight. Lock it, put it in the vault. Leon Draisaitl, 10 goals in his last 8 games against the Ducks. Leon anytime goal scorer, -110 on Betway. Why not? Worth a sprinkle. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, 11 points in those 8 games. Zach Hyman, 9. Evan Bouchard has 8 points in 8 games against the Anaheim Ducks as well. They torch the Ducks. The Oilers' big guns go out and beat the ever-loving hell out of the Anaheim Ducks, seemingly for fun, almost every time they play. David McDavid over 5.5 points. Lock it in. I mean, the ceiling's the sky, man. Like, Connor McDavid could get 6 points tonight against the Anaheim Ducks. I am like giddy with excitement to see what the Oilers could do against the Ducks. And I am an Oilers fan, so I also know that usually in games where you think like that, they come out and lay an absolute stinker. But we're keeping it positive today on Pregaming. The Oilers should absolutely roll the Anaheim Ducks. So there's your lineup. There's a couple of stats on just how dominant the Oilers have looked against Anaheim in this recent head-to-head matchup. And Maynard says, and I'm uneasy about this one. Yeah, and I get that. I totally understand being uneasy about it, because there's that weird little part of me that is also like, yeah, they might just get us tonight. The Oilers might be sleepy. They might be looking ahead. They want to get on a plane, come back home, celebrate New Year's, whatever. You can't do that if you're Edmonton, though. You need to go pedal to the floor and roll this Anaheim Ducks team. As we move towards the end of the show, yeah, it's time to get to Bordzy's Bankroll. It's brought to you by Betway 19+. Please play responsibly. But there are some ways to play responsibly tonight when it comes to the Edmonton Oilers. We got 3 options on the slate tonight for Bordzy's Bankroll, and I'll explain them all. First up, we got Connor McDavid, anytime goal, -106. This dude is completely dialed in right now. That performance in the second period against the LA Kings was vintage Connor McDavid, and I showed you the numbers. He has done very good in the goal department as of late against the Anaheim Ducks with 6 in his last 8 games. He hits this a lot. -106 is a decent price tag. Oilers as a team, 36+ shots on goal. They're averaging 41 in their last 8 games against the Anaheim Ducks. Last time they played them, they hit this number. They hit it pretty regularly against bad hockey teams as well. I think the Oilers could throw a ton of rubber on net tonight. Plus, it's just a really fun thing to bet on. Again, we're betting responsibly. Don't go crazy, but it's fun to sit there and watch the shots actually mean something. Finally, Oilers to win. McDavid 2+ points. I think this one is my favorite on the slate. A +137 payout. It's not like you're betting puck line or regulation, so you have some leeway even if the Oilers struggle. Maybe you get an OT winner. I like this one. Oilers win. Connor McDavid 2+ points. You can let me know over in the YouTube chat. Right now, the Oilers win, and 2 points for 97 is leading the way. So we'll let you guys vote for a few minutes there in this one. I'll bring Brett back on. Brett, is there one of these that you like?
Yeah, you know what? I think you like one that I like with the Edmonton win and McDavid 2+ points. I do think this will be a rout in tonight's game. The Oilers are just going to go for a run here and get out of Dodge. But to get a little different, I think I'm going to take the 36+ shots. I'm also a shot clock watcher too, so I like the 36+ shots. I mean, it would be nice bouncing off of again that game last night to be able to just keep peppering the shots. If you're pounding the shots, you're naturally going to be either running the pace of game or at least tiring out the goaltender and putting enough rubber on the net. So yeah, I'm going with either one of those two.
And if you're watching the show and you want to chase a little juice with Bagged Milk and myself, we are both wagering on the Oilers to win every period at plus 750 on Betway. I mean, come on. It's tough. It doesn't happen all that often. But if there's ever a game where it could, tonight against this Ducks team, winning all 3 periods isn't crazy.
No, goodness no. And that also, I think, goes to the shots on goal too. Just win every period. If that's on the shot clock, if that's on the score clock, just win every period, and it'll be an easy New Year's Eve. You're in California, so you're an hour behind. Get your shower in, get your little glass of champagne, and enjoy the end of 2023.
A lot of people have pointed it out in the chat, so I will say it here. 3 points for Connor McDavid would put him at, I think, 900 for his career. So again, that's an interesting one. Connor McDavid, you know, these milestones are always right there, and not just in the back of his mind, in the front of his mind. So you don't think he's itching to get 3 points and move up to 122nd all-time in NHL scoring? He's going to be motivated to do that.
Yeah, to finish the year off like right too, like, literally. And it'll be the first of probably 2 or 3 more that we see that Connor's really close and he'll hit it, and then you'll ask him about it and he's like, I just want to win. So it'll be nice for all of us to talk about, but Connor will be Connor and just dismiss it as he always does.
All right, Brett, I'll let you go one final time. Give me your score prediction tonight.
I'm going with a big one. I'll go 7-2 Oilers, and Vinny Desharnais, second NHL goal for him.
All right. Yeah, we'll be having a good time on After Dark together if Vinny Desharnais finds the back of the net. There's Brett Holden. He's producing the hell out of this show. He'll be producing the hell out of Oilers Nation After Dark with myself and Bagged Milk later on this evening. Hopefully it's a quick one, you know? Let us look into I'm not saying I'm running straight to a party after, but I'm kind of saying I'm running straight to a party after. So let's go. A nice little tight 30-minute post-game show for all of you after the final buzzer tonight, right here on the Oilers Nation YouTube. Why not? Why not? If you're looking to maybe make some new memories in the new year, may I recommend heading to nationgear.ca, where our Boxing Week sale is on, and it is ending tonight. I believe our Boxing Week bonanza, 15% off site-wide. Some exclusions apply. Free shipping on all orders over $200, or maybe, just maybe, you want to come on the Nation vacation out to Arizona. It is coming up quick, February 18th to 20th with our friends at Alberta Blue Cross. Flights, hotel, hockey, it's all included when you book through nationgear.ca. So you got the Nation vacation you can take advantage of. You got the Boxing Week blowout. It's all happening over at Nation Gear. So check it out. Buy yourself a nice little treat. Fighting Amish is in. How's Bordsy? Bordsy says he's doing all right. We're looking at a return maybe at some point next week if things can break right. But yeah, he's battling something, man, which is why I'm here with you and why it's me and Bagged Milk on After Dark. Maynard, can we start a petition to get the toilet plunger banned? It's embarrassing. I agree. I think it stinks. I think the motorcycle vest and the motorcycle helmet was infinitely cooler than that, but whatever. Mark's in. Hope everyone has an oily new year. Connor, if McDavid hits 900, it's in 601 games, which is pretty impressive. It would indeed, Simon, be fun to watch him try tonight. So there you go. As we start heading towards the end of the show, let's take a look at what did you guys decide on Bordsy's bankroll there? All in the poll. I think it's Oilers win. McDavid 2+ points is the decider, is the winner. So there you go. Roll with us. 48% of you chiming in saying you think it's going to be an Oilers win and 2 or more points for Connor McDavid. 36% of you said a McDavid goal as well. Maybe you're betting with Jay, throwing a little bit on a Connor Brown goal at 5-1. Why not? He's eventually got to do it. I know there's a handful of you that have been betting that a couple of times throughout the year, so he owes you one. Ring in the new year with a Connor Brown goal. We're going to wrap up the show a little bit early here today, but quickly, one more plug for our friends at Sherwood Ford. Head to sherwoodford.ca to check out their extensive inventory of new and used vehicle and find out how they can help you get in a nice, fresh, new whip in 2024. Maybe that's your resolution. Upgrade your whip. Sherwood Ford, the Giant, can help you do that. The Oilers looking to go to 3 games above 500 and looking to move up 3 spots in the standings as they play their final game of 2023. Thanks for tuning in. If you can't make After Dark, have a happy new year. We can't wait to do more of this in 2024. If you can make After Dark, then I'll see you there with a little glass of champagne, and we'll get closer to ringing in the new year together. Enjoy the hockey game. Enjoy your night. Whatever you're doing, do it safe. I'll chat with you on After Dark.